Now, a common problem that a lot of Photoshop users run into when they're creating reflections, especially in vehicles like this, is the three-quarter view. As you see here, we can see some of the front, or most of the front, and some of the side over here. And of course, creating a reflection for an image like this is a bit challenging. Actually I got an extra layer there I don't need. If by normal standards, if you go and duplicate this layer, and we'll go under Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical, which is right off screen here, but right at the very bottom of the submenu it says Flip Vertical. And if we drag this down, and let's change the blending mode here to Multiply, you can see that it doesn't quite line up. If I get it right to where this image, lines up with that, where it looks kind of convincing there, this wheel's way down here. It should be right up way up there. And of course it's all off angle. So that is the trouble with the three-quarter view inside Photoshop creating the reflection. Well, there is a workaround here. And the solution is quite simply to do it in pieces. And here's what I mean. I'm going to take my lasso tool here, and I'm just going to draw a very loose selection around the front of the car, just till it goes around this wheel here. Just like that. I'm going to just hold down my Shift key and add to that little selected area right there. And I'm just going to copy that selected area to its own layer. Press Command Control J. And then I'm simply going to go under Edit, and we'll flip that horizontal once again. Flip it vertically, rather. And we'll just kind of drag this down into position. I'm going to change the blending mode of this layer to, well, no, we won't multiply. And here I'm going to bring up my free transform. Drag this window out a little bit so we can see. Bring up my free transform by pressing Command or Control T. And then I'm going to go hold down my Control key or right click on the object and get up this little submenu here. I'm going to go to Skew. And you can see that Skew lets me tilt the object in a sense, but keeping it straight. It's keeping it straight up and down. It's allowing me to tilt it along the horizontal line there. And I'm just going to maneuver it until those shadows line up. You can see those two shadows right there. We'll let them line up right about there. Now we'll just hit OK. I'm going to create a layer mask on this layer now. Simply click on there, get my gradient tool, making sure we're going from a black to transparent. I bring up my gradient editor. It's the second one right here. And click OK. And then coming in from the bottom on that layer mask, I'll hold down my Shift key and just drag up a little ways, just so we get a nice fade in there. Now there's a harsh edge over here by this wheel, so I'm simply going to get myself a soft brush, painting with black, so it masks it out. Just going to make that brush a little bit smaller, use my bracket key. I'm just going to brush out that little hard edge area right there. And we'll do that over here. Alright, so there's my front end. Well, I've got this back end with the back wheel and the side of the car and everything like that. Well, get my lasso tool once again and make sure we're going back to the original layer. And I'm just going to drag a selection. And I don't need to get the entire top to bottom of the car because only a small part of the vehicle is actually going to be seen in the reflection. Actually, I got a little bit of that wheel in there I don't need, so I'm just going to hold down my Option key. And you can see I get that minus, and I can just drag and remove from that selection. Alright, so with that area selected, I'm just going to press Command J again. We'll copy that area to a new layer. Then I'm simply going to go under Edit to Transform, Flip, Vertical once again. And we'll just kind of drag this into position. You can see this line that's going on here is this line here, but it's not exactly in line with it in a reflection. So we're going to have to skew this object, just like we did the other one. Bring up Free Transform, and go to Skew. This time I'm going to hold down my Option or Alt key, and that will actually tilt it based on the center point here, as you can see right there. And we'll just kind of tilt it until those two areas seem like they're lined up, which they look like they are. Press Enter. Then I'm just going to drag this into position. And I'm going to create a layer mask for this one. And we'll go ahead and get a gradient coming in from the bottom. And we'll just drag that up just like that. I'm going to fine tune it with a soft brush here, just right in there a little bit. And we'll just come right in here, just like that. Alright, so we're almost there. Let's go back to that original layer and select that wheel area right up in here. Well, let's try that again. get most of that wheel area. Let's add a little bit to that. Copy that to its own layer, just like we did before. Again, we're going to flip it vertically. And we'll just drag that down into position here. I'm going to change that layer's blending mode to multiply, just like we did the others. Did I change that other one? No, I didn't. Let's change that one to multiply as well. Alright, so we got this wheel. Let's kind of nudge that into position there. And let's drop that layer's opacity down to about 50%. And let's do the same with this one. So all my reflection layers are set at 50% and a blending mode set to multiply. Back to that wheel image, I'm going to create a layer mask, get my paintbrush,